guys. Happy Halloween and happy minuscule little crypto bounce after the terrible day that we had yesterday. Um, I know people are getting a little bit excited, hoping that that marks the bottom. So we're going to talk about that today. Yesterday, I did a very, very quick update about the price action at the time for a potential short-term trade. And I mentioned a couple of things that I wanted to potentially discuss on YouTube, couple of strategies. And you guys went crazy in the comments saying, yes, you want those strategies. So that's what I'm going to get into today. So I'm going to have to go straight into it because both of them are complicated and I want to make sure that I get all of the details out to you and explain things as clearly as possible. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Be sure to hit that like button nice and early. It's been a while since I've done a Friday live stream. I really do enjoy doing them, but life is hectic. And being Halloween, I do have the crystal ball here. So let's see if we can guess what price is going to do. We can all wish. So let me go straight into the charts. I'm going to talk about short-term price action. Then, as I promised on yesterday's video, I'm going to talk about macro levels that we just need to be aware of. And then I'm going to talk about the hedge grid bot strategy that I mentioned on that video as well, which is just, I'll get into more details, but basically it's my own personal way of protecting myself in future should we end up with another event like the 1010 event, okay? Oh, Sachs go, I don't know how to say that. Whatever. Sachs, I don't know how to say the whole name, says, is there going to be a Black Friday deal for TTC this year? There is, but I have an announcement to make and I wasn't going to make it yet, but I will make it. Joanna says, so that's my secret. Yeah, the crystal ball is my secret, but I'll make it now and I'll just remake it when people forget. But the plan for this year is I need a break from social media and so does my team. We've worked extremely hard this year to get everyone as best we can through this cycle. So our plan for the rest of this year is that we will do a Black Friday sale. I'm not going to reveal the details of it. Our trading, our business as usual in Discord will still go on trading crazy as we do. However, after the Black Friday sale, we're going to take a month off social media. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't be here at all. We may do an emergency thing if there's something that comes up that we really want you to know. We may do an emergency stream. I'll still be doing updates on X, but as far as video content, we all just need a break. So December's a good time to do that. So basically that's the plan. We will have our Black Friday sale and then there won't be much, if any, content on this channel for about a month. So now you know, I will remind you of this in time, so don't worry about it too much. But let's go into the Bitcoin price action. and let's have a look at this. So yesterday, well, should I start? No, I'll stay here on the 1 hour. So yesterday I did a video where I was saying to have a look out for a potential 15-minute W, which was here. But I also cautioned you that the 1 hour still had another drop to go. So that if you don't get that 15-minute W, wait for this level 3 drop. So now we know, because time has passed, that's what's happened, okay? So we did get the level 3 drop on the 1 hour and we got it right into my battle zone that I had marked out. I think, did I mark this out on the video? I can't remember if I did, but it was definitely in Discord anyway. So this is what's happened so far. Now, what I'm seeing here, if you understand the mechanics of the perfect M or W, what happens after level 3 is the inside left side of a W starts to form. But on this side right here, usually what that is a low volume bounce. Usually, not always, it kind of depends on certain factors, but the typical formation will be a low volume bounce, because what it is after we've made a strong move, the big money has made the strong move in their direction and they've trapped, hopefully, the final people. they wait. They basically sit back and wait, and they see if retail will participate at this level. So when we see these white and gray candles, according to my candlesticks, what we're looking at right now is how retail are responding to price at this level. Now, the price bounced exactly at the low of the week, which is, these are levels that we use in our trading system, as opposed to using things that you've probably heard of on other channels like support and resistance. So obviously this goes to show you that's a little bit more relevant, right? So what we're seeing right now is participation from retail. Now, if we are going to change trend and continue an uptrend, at some point in time, we should come back to create the inside right side over W. And in that is where you see the market makers show up. So if you look here at this M formation, right, the market maker showed up in the green and magenta candles on the way up. Then this here is the same as this here. So you see how it's mostly white and gray? So this is retail. And then when they come up to repeat the level, that's when the market maker shows up. So this is, this here is what we're looking for in reverse now here. The problem that we have is that it's Friday, which we know that's where the trap gets set. Excuse me. But also it's the end of the month. So right now there's going to be manipulation as the market makers attempt to close the monthly candle however they want that to look. So let's go and actually have a look at how the monthly candle is currently looking. So currently it's just looking like a doji. I mean, if it closes like it is now, it's literally going to be a doji, which is indecision, and yeah, it doesn't really tell us anything about direction, but we do know we've got two high levels of liquidity either side of the range. One of those is going to get taken out eventually. So this is what we have to be careful of now. Whilst we're seeing a nice small time frame bounce, we have to understand where we are in the bigger picture, being the last day of the month, Friday where the trap gets set. And right now we're in the UK session, which still has 4 hours to go. You really do seem tired. I am. I really am. And I'm not afraid to say it, But anyway, whatever. I'm sure we're all tired. That's what happens this time of year. So now let's talk about this. So if we're going, there's two things I'm looking for, which we're going to look for live together. I haven't actually looked in advance, but there's two things I would look for now. First of all, the initial high of the day has been created today at 110.200. So it's been created around the 1 hour 50 EMA. So if we are going to get the W formation, which is the easiest reversal sign, it may not be that, it can be other ones, but I could go on for 10 years about them. If we're going to get the easy one, then we want to see UK come give us the pullback into creating the higher low before we take off. And the other thing that I was going to say, which I forgot, is we want to have a look at that mostly on the 15-minute time frame now. So it may not happen, because what's happening here is we're building, let me draw it out for you. We're building at this point in time a bit of a ascending triangle. So it might just keep breaking out. And if it does, then even more that's setting the trap for the weekend. Now, if you've never heard of the trap for the weekend, I just want to be clear, because sometimes people think when you say trap, it means we're going to reverse. Trap into the weekend doesn't mean reverse. It means consolidation. So I just want to be clear about that. But this vector candle here on the 15-minute time frame is our area of interest, because this is where price heavily fell away after making the last attempted recovery. So let's see if we get, it's possible we get a spike because we've held the initial high of the day. It's possible we keep going up into this area of interest. Maybe we get a pullback from there, or maybe we consolidate. At that point in time, we have to reassess the levels. But the second thing that I look for then is, where are the buyers waiting now that we have a potential change in trend? And I say potential because we don't actually have, if I go back to the 1 hour, we don't actually have the change in trend yet. So there's nothing at this point to say that this will not create another lower high and we continue down even further. So we're looking at a potential bounce, but it's not a confirmed one yet. I don't know why I drew that trend line, gross. So this is what we're looking for. So if we're going to have we've got a good start, but we don't have confirmation. Okay. So if we're going to get our confirmation, it's going to look something like this. There's not really a lot of time for that to form today. So it may form over the weekend. It may form into Monday, or we get a lower high and we continue down, which I will get to the macro levels then. So then I said to you, there was a second thing that I look at. So what I want to do then, the second thing is to look at where the buyers are currently waiting, because that might give me an idea as to whether or not I'm going to get the W formation, or is it going to be a different reversal formation. So we look at that on Kiyotaka, and one thing I've been noticing is that a lot of heavy buy orders are coming in at the moment. Now, the thing with these buy orders is they can be scalps. So that doesn't necessarily mean up from here. That $2.2 million long right there could be sold in 35 seconds. So we don't know that. But anyway, back to the W. So I can see here at 106,800, we have buys. So that would have to be a pretty deep retrace to come all the way back there. But what's interesting to me here is this 111,500. Let's see where that lines up exactly to my area of interest. Where is 111,500? It's right at the top of this candle right here. So yeah, that area, keep an eye on this area, number one, to see if we get into it and then get a pullback. If you get the pullback, that's where you start looking for the higher low to give you a more confidence that the trend is changing. Otherwise, we'll be looking for weakness in, I don't think, it doesn't really make sense. The only way that we would reverse from here would be if we created a double top in this area of interest. So we have to look out for that as well. Is there anything else significant? So this was 649. What else? Huge orders at 117,200, but that's quite a way up. And below price, it's not all that significant. I mean, all the orders are still there, but it's not all that significant. This is a significant one if we do get a pullback. Now, what else? I'm just reading the comments here quickly. Okay, so yeah, so that's how I feel there. Now let's talk about these macro stuff. Let's go and have a look at let's have a look at the daily. So I've talked about these areas that I've circled before. Right now, a lot of people are in two minds. There's a lot of, what do you call it? Discussion or differing opinions on social media about whether or not the bull market is over. So my theory is that, well, not my theory, but the way that I feel currently is that it's a good sign that we're reclaiming the daily time frame 200 EMA. And that's my main thing. I want to see the daily candle, well, now it can be daily, it can be weekly, and it can be monthly candle, hold above this daily time frame 200 EMA. So that is a good sign, but we do have bad signs because we have a lower high here. And we know that the major liquidity is below price, but also there is some liquidity above price. So we're essentially just in the middle of the range. So step one, if we want to be bullish and not believe that the cycle is over, step one is to hold the 200 EMA on the daily. Once we do that, the next step is to get above the 50, but then also back above this lower high. That's essential because that means we're changing structure. So we're not going to change structure until we get back above about 116, 117K, let's just say. So that's crucial, but that's going to take time because it's a daily time frame. Once we get above there, we're kind of okay, but I've pointed out this candle before as another zone, okay, that we have to be aware of. So there's three major points: holding the 200 EMA, getting back above the 50 and creating a higher high here. And then the third one is getting back above here. If we can do all of that, we may then go and take this liquidity, which would then create a new all-time high. Now, this is long-term. Remember, this is the daily time frame. Might take a whole month to do it. I don't know. I don't know when. This is just levels. If we can't do any of those three things or all of those three things, at any point, the structure could change and still come back down for these lower levels. So this is why, and I might need to clear this up. This is why I've said to you guys that at every peak formation high, I'm taking profits on my spot portfolio. Now, that is just to take profit for the cycle. So I think some people have interpreted that as I'm selling all of my Bitcoin. To be clear, I am a multi-cycle holder of Bitcoin and very few alts, very few. So I'm not selling all Bitcoin that I own. When I say that I'm taking profits, it's for my cycle allocation, right? It's for the stuff that I bought in the bear market to sell in the bull market. It's not my multi-cycle stuff. I'll always hold Bitcoin multi-cycle. I will always do that, and I don't sell that. This is a separate portfolio, which was just my cycle portfolio for this cycle. And I personally believe, and I understand that everybody has a different opinion. I can only go off my personal beliefs. And I personally believe that we are closer to the end than we are to the beginning. So for that reason, it makes sense to be slowly taking profits on the way up. And so therefore, these are my conditions, is that at peak formation highs, and I did it here, by the way, I did sell some here. But at peak formation highs, I will be taking partial profits slowly. But what if we don't get any more peak formation highs, right? Well, then we're going to break down into this lower area of liquidity. Now, I know that a lot of people, what are profits? I'm holding underwater bags. I know. But also some of I have some red as well, and I'm just cutting them, like, because I'm short-term trading on leverage. So like this week we had a great week with like Litecoin went sick. What else went sick? A few things went sick, and there was like really good profits in those. So I took those profits and I cut a red spot bag just to clear my mind of it. And I tell you, it feels really good. So there's that option too, right? It's just that leaves me basically at a net balance that's even. It's not a win, it's not a loss. I've made the profit on a short-term trade. I cut out a spot bag that was in red that I don't believe is going to go anywhere. So okay, so moral of the story is what if we don't get any more peak formation highs and we just go down? Now, I know a lot of people are saying that, you know, Bitcoin might go to 98K or 90K or whatever. And that's true because there is liquidity here, right? We've got 88,800 to 95,800 is a big level, but the one before that is 97.5 to about 101.5, right? So we worry about that level first, but still the bottom of that range is 97.5. My issue is that if we break 100, now this is a psychological thing, not a technical analysis thing. If we break 100K, that could cause panic selling, as that might be people's cutoff point, right? That might be where they are like, well, I don't want Bitcoin if it drops below 100K, cycles over. That might be their opinion. And so we don't know until it happens, if it happens, until it happens, we don't know how people are going to react at 100K. So I personally don't want to take the risk, because if we break below 100K and people go, that's it, bear market 100% confirmed, then no one's going to be buying. And then yes, probably a bear market will start. But if we just say we had a candle like this, right, that spiked into 98 and straight back up, that's going to show me that there are really strong buyers there. Now, the problem with that is that I personally, and I'm just telling you what my decision is, I don't want to take that risk, because I made a very good decision this cycle to buy at 15.7. I literally nailed the bottom of the bear market within $100 range publicly before it happened. And it was the biggest test of my skill. And for that reason, to be buying at like 15, 16, 17, 18, 20K, and now it's at 100, I don't want to risk giving that back on the other end, because you don't make money until you lock in the profit. So until I actually realize the gain of that really good decision, I haven't even done anything fucking good, right? None of us have. So until you actually take profit, you can't really celebrate the trade. So below 100K, I don't know if that's going to then drop, give us a lower high, and bear market continues. And I personally don't want to risk that. So that's my line in the sand. Taking profits slowly at peak formation highs, however long they go. If Bitcoin goes to 190, I'll still be doing that. But then also if it goes the other way and there are no peak formation highs, if it's looking like we're going to break 100K, even if it looks like we're just going to break and spike back up, it doesn't matter. I will be selling before it gets to that point. And when I say I'm selling, it's cycle holdings, not my entire crypto net worth. Okay, so hopefully that's cleared that up. But this is how you have to plan for yourself and your own portfolio as well. And basically that's my plan. And because, I don't want to risk, let me just show you. I don't want to risk this leading to this and then this, right? On the assumption that, there has to be one more wipeout and then bull market resumption. Maybe, but it's an assumption. And that's too risky for me and how hard I've worked for this cycle. And not only that, let me just tell you one more thing. I know most people don't hold a lot of Bitcoin because they believe Bitcoin doesn't make them enough money, and so they have really heavy alt bags and whatnot. But at the end of the day, if you hold some Bitcoin, that has saved you this cycle from most altcoins. Not all, some altcoins have performed very well, but holding Bitcoin has almost acted as the hedge around against your bad altcoin decisions. So imagine you round trip your Bitcoin back down. Like, that's just a double bad decision. At the end of the day, if you have some Bitcoin, it's forgiven a lot of your altcoin mistakes. But it will only do that if you realize the profit. And again, I'm talking about cycle profits, not the Bitcoin that you've planned to buy for the rest of your life. So yeah, anyway, I hope that clears that up. Now, I think I've covered the macro levels question. Let me know in the comments if that makes sense. And if you got value from that, please hit that like button and hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So the next thing that I promised you I was going to talk about was this, which was my hedge strategy for the bots. Now, I'm going to explain this to you, but I need you to know one thing before I do. What I'm about to explain to you is not a strategy that will ensure I don't lose money, okay? It will lose me money, but it will lose me less money in the type of event like we had at 1010 than what I did lose, okay? So that's the point of this trade. I want to be very, very clear. The second thing is I have money. So it's okay for me to do this, and I'm going to explain it to you, but it is not a recommendation for you to do this. You have to understand your personal situation, because this involves adding money. Okay, so you can't go all in at one price. You will have to be prepared to add investment to this strategy. And then the last thing is, and this is the biggest one, because what I learned from the 1010 event was that some people were putting their whole life savings into bots, which is never a recommendation. Actually, you shouldn't do that into anything. Some people had their whole life savings on leveraged positions, not even bots, just their own leveraged positions. You shouldn't do that. And now I feel like enough time has passed that I can give you the reality check. I had to be a little bit sensitive before, but the fact of the matter is that if you're putting your entire life savings into any leverage position, you are a small-minded thinker. And that is very low vibrational to do, because if you respect money, if you want more money to come to you, you have to treat it well. And putting all of it on a leverage position makes absolutely no sense, because every single time you commit money to the market on a leverage position, even if it's low leverage, you are accepting that it's gone already, right? Winning, making money off a leverage position is a bonus. But anytime you open a trade, you should not be going, how much can I make? You should be saying to yourself, how much can I lose? And am I okay with that? So the day that you decided to put your life savings in leverage positions before 1010 was the day you made a low vibrational decision and the market taught you a lesson. And for the TTC community, for people copying my bots, you guys got, I can't say it on YouTube because I got banned, but you guys know what you got in return for that. That won't happen again, because what I learned after making that effort was that you probably needed to learn, some of you needed to learn the lesson, okay? So I just want to be very clear about that. We at TTC say that you should not have any more than 5% of your total capital that you have available in crypto on the bots at any one time. If you did that, and I'm not talking about risk, I'm talking about capital, because if you did that, if you lost 5% on 1010, it wouldn't have hurt, right? But if you lost 100% of your savings, it really hurts. So we got to be a bit smarter about this. You guys have got to learn to play the long-term game, okay? We make smaller amounts of money over a longer period of time. We compound that money. Eventually it pays off. Trying to make a big amount of money in a small period of time, especially at this part of the cycle where you might be feeling like time's running out and you haven't made what you wanted to make, it's not going to lead to the abundance that you're looking for, okay? So with those disclaimers out of the way, let me try to explain to you this strategy. So basically what I have done here is you'll see that I have a couple of bots. So I have a Solana long, I have a Bitcoin short, I have a Bitcoin long, and I have an Ethereum long. So the idea here is that should an event like 1010 happen again, my long bots would get liquidated because these are still on low leverage, right? 3x, the Bitcoin's on a 5x because Bitcoin doesn't move as fast, but the rest are on 3x. So they're still very low leverage. That's as safe as I can possibly be. They have stop losses. They have everything they're meant to have. But like we experience, things can still go wrong no matter how much risk management you have. So how do I protect myself against potentially that? Is by opening this short bot. So let me explain it to you. Let me go to, do I have it on this chart? Hold on. Yes. Okay, so let me show you first the long bot, okay? So the strategy is, and like I literally haven't planned this, so I'm just telling you live, so I may mumble some steps up. But basically the goal is you have to believe that the cycle isn't over, number one, and you have to believe that it's ending soon, okay? So this is personal choice. These are my beliefs, but this is why I said to you, I may still lose money because I could be wrong on my beliefs. So if you were to believe that the cycle is potentially ending soon, but it's not over, then that is the small window of time to execute this hedge strategy. So the first step is to open your long bot. So what you're seeing on the screen is my current range. These are available to copy. Right now, all my long bots have 0% profit share. So you can just go in and copy mine. I'm not taking a percentage for doing that. It is just another way in which I'm trying to support you to make back what you lost on that event, right? Up to you though, you can literally just go into Pionex and copy these numbers as well if you prefer. So this is my current long bot settings on Bitcoin, and the start price is important. So if you do want to copy, make sure that the price is somewhere around my start price or somewhere around the lower end of the range. I think what went wrong with the last time was, let's just say I had this range, right? people were copying me when the price was here. So they were in a worse off position than me. So just, it doesn't matter whose bot you copy, just do that. Make sure you're in the lower part of the range and you're not too far from the creator's start price. And also just check the liquidation level and, you know, all of the normal stuff. By the way, I was going to say all the normal stuff that's taught in the course, but you might not be aware. So just quickly, if you go to the description of this video, you will see that we have a free GridBot mastery course right here, and 100% free. All you have to do to get access is join Pionex using our link right here. Once you've created your account, you have to fund it with $250, but that's yours to use on bots. And then you just click on this link here and it will open up the course page. You put in your Pionex UID, which you just get from the top here. And then you can do that course. Okay, so 100% free. So take the education whilst it's there. So anyway, point being, you set up your, if you're bullish, you set up the long bot, okay? And then you decide what capital you want to add. So let's just say I've put 2,000 on this, and let's just say I put 2,000 on this because I did, so it's easier for me to just use the real examples. But so you set it up, you put 2,000. Now my immediate goal is to hedge this with a short bot in the event that that kind of event happens again. So now let me show you the short bot settings. So with this short bot that I've set up now, I did this here before the liquidation event. So my bot has been going for a while, my short bot. And again, the link is, you can find the links in the description of the video. But with this one, you'll see here, look, let me show you. You'll see here that my liquidation is $190,000, over $190,000. So the chances of me getting liquidated on this short are pretty small. And not only that, I have a lot of time to manually exit this if I thought we were going to get anywhere close to it. But we're not going to because of what I'm about to show you. So let's just say I put 2,000 on the long bot. Then at peak formation highs, I want to open a short bot and I want to put 2,000 on that as well. So I'm putting equal capital on both. Now, the thing is, I do this only, so the short bot will only be on Bitcoin for a specific reason. So if I'm opening future longs, like I opened the, where is it? The Solana long, let's just say I put another 2,000 on Solana. That means at the next opportune moment, I need to also put 2,000 on my Bitcoin short. So I'm not opening a Solana short. I'm opening a Bitcoin, or I'm adding to my Bitcoin short, okay? So I'm only hedging with Bitcoin no matter what altcoin long I buy. And why do I want that? Because Bitcoin is less volatile, and we saw in the 10-10 event that the alts massively died, like really bad. They could hit our liquidations. They could spike to the upside and hit our short liquidations. We want to reduce that risk as much as possible. So if we're of the belief that it's likely Bitcoin's not going to go to 190K in 1 week, or if it does, we would catch it in time, then it's better to only hedge with Bitcoin. Now, here's where the thing comes in, where you might, about the not losing money. So this isn't about not losing money. So let's just say over 5 long bots, I've put in 10 grand. That means I've got to get my short bot to the point of having 10 grand in it. So you're not doing it at the same time, because you're opening your long bots at bottoms of ranges and you're opening your short bots at tops of ranges. But you've just got to remember how much capital you need to add to your short bot to keep it even, okay? And then in the event that another thing like that happens, and let's just say our 10K on our longs get liquidated, the short on Bitcoin is going to make back some of that money. Is it likely that it's going to make back the whole 10 grand we put on the alts? No, but it might make 5, it might make 6, it might make 7. That's better than losing 10. Does this make sense? Can you guys let me know in the comments that this makes sense? And definitely ask me questions about this, because I'm happy to answer everything that you need. We do have time, but I want to make sure that this is very, very clear, because I don't want you to change the rules and I don't want you to do stupid things. Okay. I don't want you to take my good strategies and make them stupid. It's essentially what I'm trying to avoid here. Also low leverage. So the reason why my liquidation is at 190 on the Bitcoin bot is because it's only on a 3x. I'm pretty sure. Let's double check. Where is it? Yeah, it's on a 3x. So you can see here at this point, so the actual investment right now is 1,200 and there's the 720 here. So that's the 2,000, right? So like I told you, I showed you here where I opened that. I opened it right here. Now I haven't come close enough to that to add more to, I have to tell you how to do this, to add more. So as you can see here, all of my bots have 2,000. When you add the actual investment plus the extra margin, Solana has 2,000. The Bitcoin has more, my long, because I've had this one for a long time. But the moral story is slowly over time, whatever is on all of these long bots, I'm still waiting to add investment to my short bot to get them even. So what am I trying to say? I'm showing you that I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to do it if we start to move up levels because it's going to move my liquidation point further away. Now, the way that you actually do that when the time comes is you go to this. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. You go to more, and what you want to do is add investment. Okay, so you don't want to, but you can only add investment if this bot is in profit, because if it's in loss, you have to realize the loss and then it basically opens a new one. We don't want to do that. So you just have to keep monitoring this. If it looks like, price is moving up and your short bot is looking like it's going to go into loss, add investment before it gets to loss. It rebalances the entire thing. And then, yeah, hopefully you're right about your peak formation and the price drops and it goes back into profit. But either way, it doesn't matter, because if you're wrong, you lose on that bot, but you gain on the longs. Okay. And you will gain more on the longs because your longs are on altcoins, which move in bigger percentages. Okay. So, okay, let me just see. I know this is complicated, and if it is, don't do it. Right. So it is an advanced trading strategy, and it will only make sense to some. So you still don't touch alts. I short-term trade alts. Let me see what else is here. There's no euphoria in alts because many of them are at bear market lows. The sentiment has been negative. Yeah, well, I heavily reduce alts in January of this year, and I only hold a very few. And of the very few that I hold, I am selling right now. If I can understand it, everyone can. Yay, that's good feedback. Oh, you guys are having political arguments in the chat there. I'm not about that. I'm about making money, funneling it out, and living your best life. Yes. So no winning with the bots, only to save some money if this 10-10 event can, I don't know what you were trying to say, but you will make money, because if it goes up, if you're in a long bot and it goes up, you can close those longs at any time and take the profit. So you'll make money on that. But this is just, yeah, in worst case scenario, we have one of those events again, the short will make something so the pain doesn't feel as bad. Okay, you guys, make sense? Okay, cool. Is my job here done then? Speaking of which, so if you do want to do this, like I said, do the free course if you need it. When you do join Pionex using our link, you do get the deposit bonus. Now, this deposit bonus, depending on how much you deposit, you get a bigger bonus, and you can use them to try out one of the bots. You can copy a bot, or you can copy my bots, and you can make your own, and you can use this bonus for that. So it's almost like a, try before you buy type of thing. You deposit them your money, but you don't have to use it. You use the trial funds first, test it out, see if you like it, and then after that you can commit your own money. And then there's also a trading reward with them as well. So yeah, I think that's it. Now, I suppose, do you want to have a look at some altcoins? Do you want to have a look at like macro level altcoins, or something else. Probably better to do macro being a Friday because price is going to be tricky. Bitcoin already top. It might be. We don't know. Bitcoin might be already at the top, which is why I think it's okay to be taking profits. I know people like don't want to. And the other thing as well is like people are starting to get married to price. So they're like, oh, I'll take profit when it gets to 130 or I'll take profit when it gets to 150. But what if it doesn't, you know? But just take a little bit out, 10%. Who cares? Macro alts, yes. All right, let's go and have a look at I don't look at coins that are named after bodily functions, guys. So, okay, let's have a look at ETH. Still flagging. Let's see if these orders are still here. Because that was a while ago. What were they? 34 to 36. Yeah, they're still there. 35 is significant. Sorry. My cough is getting better though. That's the good news. 35 is significant, but we won't get there unless we break 36 and around the current low actually. So let's have a look. Yeah, 200 EMA is significant on the daily time frame. Look, I really like ETH as a setup. Like when I have a look at ETH, especially ETH BTC, let's go have a look at ETH BTC. Don't get married to what I'm going to say. Don't get married to what I'm going to say. Disclaimer. When I look at ETH BTC, my gut feeling, which is not TA, it's just which feeling, it's crystal ball feeling, okay? My crystal ball might break. I get the feeling that Bitcoin has potentially topped, or if not, there's another top coming, but it's a fake out just to take that upper liquidity, and alts are getting ready to go. And there are some cycles where both have completed at the same time, and there are some cycles where alts kept going after Bitcoin. When I look at ETH price action, I feel like that's the one we're in, that alts will keep going a little bit after Bitcoin has peaked, if it hasn't already. Like I said, this is a feeling, it's not TA. But the reason for that, which is more important, is because of this ETH BTC structure. It's just beautiful. Like it's literally just beautiful. And all it needs right now is time. So what I mean by that is like, just have a look at this work of art by the market maker. We got this perfect rise level 1 here. And I was going to say, can't remember. Anyway, we got this perfect. I remember talking about this range for so long on this channel and saying, this is the consolidation after rise 1. We need the retail breakout of the trend line, you know, a higher low at this vector candle. I remember this. Took us 60 days. And then it broke out and we got level 2. Smaller consolidation. Then we got level 3. Straight into what is a 3-level drop bull flag. Perfect. It looks so friggin' good. And it's at the end of it. So if I move these out of the way, if this is going to confirm we're at the end of it, where all we're looking for now is, does this here pull back to give us a higher low? So a higher low in relation to this wick low. Okay. So we're getting ready for the setup. We're not mega bullish yet. We're getting ready for the setup. We will turn mega bullish when the setup is there, when the trigger is there. The trigger's not there yet. So what we're looking for is a higher low that stays away from this wick. It could even potentially come back because the 200 EMA will do this. So it could potentially come back to test the 200 EMA, something like that. That would be delicious. So we're looking for a higher low a 200 EMA retest, a double bottom, even a candle close double bottom, I should say, because that will be a double bottom at the 38 fib. Do you know how bullish that is? That is so freaking bullish. Or what else could happen? We get a lower low, but it stays kind of, well, the flag structure might change a little. I'm not the expert at retail patterns, but we could get a lower low that is the final, the third touch to the bottom trend line, in which case, to me, that's worst case scenario. So if we got that, let me draw it out. If we got that, that's fine. I will still then look for a W. I will still then look for a W because it would just confirm the flag. The only thing that would invalidate this is a meaningful break below the flag. That's it. Other than that, this is bullish AF and we're just waiting for the trigger. So it might look like this one day. Wait, what was I doing? No, here. It might look like this one day and then it does this, or it could take off from where it is now, but I don't think so. I'm looking for this. I'm really looking for this. And just because this is a daily chart, with the amount of time it's going to take for that higher low, double bottom, or lower low than W, that's what's telling me that if Bitcoin is topped out, the alts will go for a little bit longer after. That's my feeling anyway. And all I can tell you is my feeling. 100% could be wrong. Don't bank on it. I'm just telling you what I'm looking for. I'll only act if I feel like the trigger is there. Okay, what else? Do I believe the 4-year cycle has changed? I'm not of the belief that it has changed. I understand all of the arguments as to why it has, but I'm not of that belief currently myself. What else? All right, nothing. But so let me have a look at some of these coins that I'm seeing. So with that in mind, I want the coins that you're asking for, I want to chart them against Bitcoin first, because let's see if we can find any other major gems like that, you know? So Solana you asked for. Okay. When was this? 2022, 2023. Okay, so let's go from here. Yeah, let's go from here. So, okay, the problem is with this is that this to me looks like distribution before breaking down and then a lower high. So it could be that, but it also could be a break and a higher low. So I'm in two minds about Sol BTC, unless this part here changes, like confirms the change in structure. So let's focus on this part. So the first thing we need to do is check where we are in the fib retracement. Came back to 61.8. That's a good sign. And that means that, oh, we've also got a nice big blue vector here. So that's another good sign. And we haven't at this point returned to it. So what we can do here is we can identify clearly the trapped traders. We can see once we draw it, the dotted line on my square shows that price is holding above it. That's a good sign. But price is currently under the 200 EMA and the 50. So I would be looking for structure to change on this. If I wanted to be bullish on it, it may be starting. So that may be a kind of weak break and retest, but nevertheless it may be. But again, I don't trade diagonals, so who cares? So and I also like that this red wick wicked into this green vector here. So actually that vector is more important to me. So ideally I want to see another attempt at the 61.8. And when and if that happens, I want to see strong movement out. That's when I will think, okay, Sol BTC is bullish, go in on Sol. The other thing is it could stay clear. So it's consolidating away from this blue vector. It could move out from here To me, that's not the best play. I would like to see it spike one more time into 61.8 personally. So therefore, let's go and see the chances of that with Sol USDT. Where is it? Here. Don't know why that's there. And let's have a look at, we don't need 3 months because everybody got wrecked. We need 1 month. Okay. I would like us to return to the wick. I know no one wants to hear that, but I would. This is gone now. Let's just check the 3 month for funsies. It's the same zone. This is tricky. All right, let me just mark this up and then we'll have a look at a smaller time frame. What do I want to look at? Actually, is there anything else I need to look at? Okay, let's go have a look at 12-hour. 12-hour looks a little bit better than the daily because we're holding this 12-hour support, which is at the 800 EMA. This support here is a prior resistance, so it's a nice flip area. So 12-hour is decent. 12-hour is decent. Wait, what happened here? Let's put this back. See, the lower we go down, it kind of starts to become a bit choppy, but we just have to go until it makes sense. Okay, so that support created the current low of the week. We've created a higher low off the low of the week yesterday. However, not with strong volume. So let's go to 15-minute. Okay, so this could be an attempted V-shaped recovery. Hold on. Okay, from here to here. So that will be confirmed if we consolidate, which is what we're doing so far today. So it might have some upside from here, but I just don't know how long term it is because I'm on the 15-minute time frame and it's Friday as well. So here's the thing. If we consolidate all weekend, like if US doesn't make the move on this, it might, but it might be a fake move. And we consolidate all weekend, Monday or buying in the consolidation, just have a loose stop loss if you do that because we've got false move week beginning that happens Sunday, Monday. So buying in the consolidation might be a good idea. You know what I would look for? Wait, let me use my brain a second. Yeah, I would look for in one of the sessions, so either rest of UK or US, for us to break the initial high. And it'd be even better actually if it did it with a stop hunt. Break the initial high, then over the weekend, consolidate or whatever, but kind of hold this range. Let's do that option first. Then I would feel like, okay, it took the upper liquidity. So it took the shorts. It built positions over the weekend. It's probably going to break out next. What would be even better would be if we spiked to the low as well before today finishes. That would be even better. Then I'd be like, cool, they took the liquidity of every trader today that traded Asia. They took the upper liquidity and they took the lower liquidity. Now they're free to move. Who's the trap trader? These guys. and therefore you build your bias to the upside. Does that make sense? Guys, that was an encyclopedia of information. Why are you not in the Discord? If you get this much information on YouTube, imagine what you get in Discord. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. You can do the exact same process with every altcoin. I hope today's video was helpful. Let me know if it was. And thanks for joining me. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have an amazing weekend.